lot of, yeah, I think I lost them.
Thank you. Good evening. I call this meeting to order at 6:25 p.m. Directors present tonight are Director Teitler, Director After, Director Lindberg. Director. Thank you. Good evening. I call this meeting to 6:25 p.m. Directors present tonight are I know. Director DeFreitas and myself, meaning we have a quorum. Thank you to our interpreter, Rodrigo. Would you please share the interpretation instructions with our participants, and then we can turn on the interpretation function. The first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Directors, are there any proposed changes to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The next business in order is the approval of the fiscal year 26 mill levy certification. Do I have a motion to approve the mill levy certification?
I move that the board approve the FY26 mill levy certification as presented.
Second.
We will now have 2 minutes of discussion for each board member. Oh, sorry. Chief Chicoine, if you could please share with the board.
Thank you, Director Ramirez. I'm just going to go through the CFO report briefly, just trusting that everybody's reviewed it, but just in an effort for transparency is just providing a lot of information for constituents so that everybody understands all of the relevant information around mill levies, because it is very complicated. It's a complicated topic. Trying to make sure that everybody can understand it effectively, because it's also an important topic. So that's why there's a lot of information in the report I'm probably not going to touch on. I'm just going to see if I can run through that. Oh, other direction. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so looking at the first slide, the one thing that I'm going to note here is on the last bullet is it says represents 69% of total district revenues and 82% of total program funding revenues with this property tax and mill levy rate. Those are higher than the prior years because of a lot of things that's going on at the legislative level, at the state level, that's outside of the district's control. So last year it was in the 50%-ish for the total district revenues and around 71% for the total program funding revenues. So that has increased roughly 10%, 11% on that. So just something really important to note. And those are for things outside of the district's control. So then I'm going to just kind of skip down. I encourage anybody that is new to mill levies to read all the information that I put in here. That's really useful to just kind of grasp how mill levies work. So we're just going to focus on the specific mill levies related to the district. The first one we're going to talk about is the bond mill levy, and that is repayment for the bonded debt that was paid by or was approved by taxpayers, excuse me. So looking at that, the mill levy rate itself is going to go from 7.781 to 6.546, which is a reduction of 1.2 mils. So that part is a good thing. And the dollars are actually staying pretty much the same too. So what's happening is our net assessed valuation is increasing by 18%. So it's reducing the mill levy rate for taxpayers on that one. And looking at the mill levy override, we actually have 4 separate votes that is noted there. There is only one of those that increases by inflation, which is our 2021 mill levy override. And now looking at what that really means to us is that we would be garnering an additional $259,000. And that is related to the 3.1% inflation, which is based upon Denver Boulder CPI. And so that's the only increase that the mill levies are going to have this year. And so because that 3.1% obviously doesn't, for one of the 4 mill levies, does not keep up with the 18% increase in assessed valuation, the mill levy rate is actually going down here as well for taxpayers. Okay. So going into the total program mill levy. Now your total program mill levy, this is a part of how we get our school funding per student, just for everybody to understand what this total program means. And when you look at this one's just a lot more interesting because it's legislatively mandated how these mill levies work. And so when you look at the total program mill levy, it says 27 mills on that one line. Now that is the amount that they're ratcheting up to, and they've had this mill levy rebate over the years that has been ratcheting like down as the mill levy rate has been ratcheting up. And so if you look at the 2024 mills of 25.759, it's increased by 1.0 mil to 26.759. When you take that into consideration that also the residential assessment increased from 6.7% to 7.05% for school districts specifically, which is also legislated by the state, and it reduced the $55,000 property credit, which increased the assessed valuation at the same time as the mill levy rate is increasing. It resulted in 10.9 million additional dollars for our total program funding that is coming from our property tax source. Okay, so that is a 23% increase. So that is a big increase. And I wanted to note all of those different factors that are out of the district's control of why that happened. But the mill levy itself only went up by 1.0 mil according to state statute. Okay, so that one's a little bit more interesting. When we look at the abatement mill, that is just remilling for those assessments and taxes that we're never going to get, so that we have a legal obligation to receive. So then we're remilling for that because they were abated to the taxpayer. So that's just the abatements actually went down between years, so that mill levy rate did decrease slightly. And then looking at the total summary. So the total mills is actually going down by over 1 mil. So that's good. And looking at the value of what a home value with the 1.5 million would pay $4,383.87, which would be an increase of 4.93% over the previous year because of those legislative issues that we discussed earlier. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Teacher Point. We will now have 2 minutes for discussion for each board member and 5 minutes of open discussion. Director Kuhlenberg.
I don't have any questions on this. I appreciate the thorough discussion and presentation and the highlighting of this complex process for community, because I think it's something that people hear about a lot, but they don't know the specifics and the mechanisms that make it all work. So thank you for your work on it and for getting this to us in a timely way.
Director DeFreitas.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation summary. I just correct me if I'm wrong here, but we are finishing up reaching mills of a process that we started by voter approval a while ago, right? Didn't we? We've been working some in over the years. Is that correct?
So the mills for the total program, those that I think that's been increasing over the last, I want to say 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been for quite some time that it's been increasing at the rate of 1 mil per year.
And this is the last year for that, is that right?
Yeah, this is the last year it's going to go up 1 mil. The next year it's going to go up roughly 0.2 mils. So there is this little itty bitty amount to get from the 26.7 that we're at to the 27,
Which is what was voter approved in 2020. What year?
2021.
Back up.
state statutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Because I
appreciate
was like, thank you. Yes, that's the state statute. And I wasn't sure. I think that was legislated.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Got it.
Mhm.
Director Tytler.
Thank you for this information. The only thing I would like to add is that even though taxes have gone up for homeowners, I just want to restate that the school isn't getting that kickback and we are not receiving more money. And because the state just backfills what the property tax doesn't pay. And so even though property tax has gone up for our community, the school isn't reaping the benefits of that. And it's just the state then has to give us less. So just to make sure that that's out there, this is an important thing to say.
Thank you for that point. That is very important.
Director After.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for making that point, Director Tyler. I just had one detailed question to check my understanding on slide, 5, where it says property values. It says they're reassessed every odd year. And then it says in 24, it was a set. Is that a typo?
I was questioning that too.
Okay.
Oh, it might have been from the prior year. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was confused about why assessed value only increased 0.67% in 24 and then 18.4 in 25.
Oh, yeah, and that is not a typo,
Okay.
actually. Okay. so
Can you
then-
explain that? Because I'm not understanding.
Yeah, so because 2024 is an even year, so that was not a reassessment year. There's very little change in the actual certified values of properties. And so that's why it only goes and changed by 0.67% because they weren't reassessed until 2025.
Okay, I think it's on the slide, it says 25 was not a reassessment year.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay,
I understand.
Okay.
And that makes sense.
okay, yeah, sorry.
Thank
That's
you.
what I meant to say.
No worries, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry to check on that. I don't have any other questions. Thanks for the presentation. I always find these really helpful.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
I'll echo those sentiments. We had finance committee Monday and, I think one of the great things about being up to date now with the CFO is the fact, and having finance committee, is that we get to talk through our finances more often as board members. And so just really want to give appreciation. I know that we are adjusting to expectations in regards to like our quarterlies, our financials and everything. And I've just so appreciated, even for our mill levy certification that is so routine, that we take the time to educate and to have conversation about district finances in a real way that community can understand. So thank you so much for that. Okay, are there any further questions from the team? We can call for a vote.
Director After,
Aye.
Director DeFreitas,
Aye.
Director Cool,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Tyler.
I
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. The next business in order is our new member induction. I will administer the oath of office to our new member and to our one continuing member. We will go through one at a time in alphabetical order and starting with Director Colbert. Okay. Catherine, can you please raise your right hand?
Got it.
Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office of school director as required by law and will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the laws made pursuant thereto?
I, Catherine Kuhlenberg, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of school director as required by law and will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the laws made pursuant thereto.
We will now move on to Tammy Nemo. Right, Tammy.
I stand up.
Hell yeah. If you would, yeah.
I assumed you should, raise your right hand, stand up.
Tammy, can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office of school director as required by law and will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the laws made pursuant thereto?
I, Tammy Nimmo, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of school director as required by law and will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the laws made pursuant thereto.
We will now transition the District A seat to Director Nemo. And we will obviously say another thank you. Thank you, Candy. To Director Tyler, who has faithfully performed these duties for the last 4 years.
Hi, Kenny. Oh, you're saying, okay, good.
Welcome to Director Nemo. We still have a quorum. We now have Director After, Director DeFreitas, Director Kuhlenberg, Director Nemo, and myself. Okay. Okay. For information. Yep, coming. The next business in order is nomination for the office of board president. Are there any nominations?
I just give me a second. Wait, it's not scripted out.
No.
Number 5.
You just say who you nominate.
Okay. I would like to nominate Lindsay DeFreitas for chair.
Are there any further nominations for the office of board president? Seeing none, nominations for the office of board president are now closed. The nominees for the office of board president are Director DeFreitas. We will now hold election for the office of board president by roll call.
Please answer with yea or nay. Director After,
Yay.
Director DeFreitas,
Yay.
Director Kuhlenberg,
Yay.
Director,
Yay.
Director Ramirez.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
We don't have to swap. You can just.
You would just pass this.
Okay.
There you go. Here's the problem.
This is where it's at. Okay.
oh, funny.
Thank you all. I appreciate the trust. The next business in order is the nomination for the office of board vice president. Are there any nominations for board vice president?
I would like to nominate Director Kuhlenberg for board vice president.
Director Kuhlenberg is nominated. Are there any further nominations for the office of board vice president? Seeing none, the nominations for the office of board vice president are now closed. The nominees for the office of board vice president nominee is Catherine Kuhlenberg. We will now hold the election for the office of board vice president by roll call.
Director After,
Aye.
Director DeFreitas,
Aye.
Director Kuhlenberg, Director,
Aye.
Director Ramirez.
Aye.
Director Kuhlenberg is been elected as the new board vice president. Congratulations. And then the next business in order is nomination for the office of secretary and treasurer of the board. One person may simultaneously hold the offices of board secretary and board treasurer. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Director Ramirez for the office of treasurer/secretary.
Director Ramirez is nominated. Are there any further nominations for the office of secretary and treasurer of the board? Seeing none, nominations for the office of secretary and treasurer are now closed, and the nominee is Director Ramirez. We will now hold the election for the office of secretary and treasurer of the board by roll call.
Director After,
Aye.
Director DeFreitas,
Aye.
Director Kuhlenberg, Director,
Aye.
Director Ramirez.
Aye.
And Director Ramirez has been elected as the new board secretary and treasurer. Congratulations. And I guess if there's no further business and there is no objection, then this meeting will be adjourned. It is 6:44 p.m.